Hey everybody, this is Inara Ariane Griffin. And if you've never heard me speak before, I'd love to say hello. I like to welcome new people. So put your name in, say hi. And if you know me, it's always great to know my friends, the people who are in touch with me all the time throughout the journey. It's been a long journey of conversations. And I've been feeling that I wanted to launch a new body of work for some time. I've hinted at it. I've put little sprinkles of messaging around, which is all to do with the topic of daring. And it's become clear to me at this stage in a very long game of entrepreneurship, of creativity, of sending out art creations, of sending out manifestations in my life, and then training and coaching entrepreneurs for such a long time that there is one ingredient that is more outstanding than others that really speaks to how you can move forward, how you can expand, how you can move into the top notes of your expression, rather than say there's a lower level and there's a higher level of every expression. The theme may be the same, but it's like, how do you get to the top notes of your expression, like the top notes of a perfume? So my insight on this is daring. It's the element of daring. And so in March, I'm going to set up a 5-day daring challenge where anybody can come and join me from any sphere, from any creative background, from strictly business, from new business to very experienced business, to see how we can stretch the boundaries and move you into a different level. Now, the levels that I'm really interested in, when I've asked anybody, what is it that they want to do? Anybody. Doesn't matter. If we were to distill it down, it's often looking at an element of luxury. And luxury is a different element for everybody. It really is. From the obvious villas and high-end fashion style to Ferraris to Aston Martins, all of that we could just say is luxury. And even if it was talking about the luxury of being with your family, the luxury of spending time to yourself rather than being in a corporate grind, when I distill down what people really want in life, the breakthrough that they want is always some element of luxury. It's not really just about money. It's definitely not about wealth. So we're looking at the daring element because it's often not what you do, it's who you are in the process of moving towards that. And when I say daring, so if we just stop for a moment and we just have this, take a breath, just allow yourself to just tune in and ask yourself, what is it that you dare to do? What is it that you dare to do? So I want to take us on a journey of this, always with that guiding question of what is it that you dare to do? In every area of your life, and that will be from your health, from your family, to your business, to your wealth, to your, if you're not involved in business, but you're putting out a creative expression of something, your creativity, then start to think, what is the ingredient, or relationships, what is the ingredient that you hold back on? And you can kind of feel it like a little tingle when we start to talk about daring, because daring is an energy. It's got a frequency to it. It's got a playfulness to it. It's like, do you dare? What do you dare? You can feel that energetic. It's very different than, say, somebody willing something or somebody having the courage to do something. It's like daring has got this this delightful, slightly naughty energy to it, which helps you feel like, hey, it's a game. We're playing a game. What are we going to do with daring? There have been so many instances that I think if I did not dare, I would not be where I am. I would have been in a very, quite an ordinary life situation, I would say, rather than taking on the daring of the adventure. That was one thing that I took on very, very early. I was up for an adventure. And I'll tell you a little story. When I moved to Canada, my parents emigrated and took me with them when I was 5. And there were moments where I was going back and forth and always spending the whole of the summer in England with my grandmother, Ida. And there was something about the way I related to the land in England. So I can see the beauty of Canada. I can feel it. I can wander amongst it, but I am not feeling of it. It's like there's something else that it's kind of not my landscape. It's not my frequency, if you like. So roll on. We moved back and forth, or I did. I was moving back and forth to live with my grandmother. And so I spent a lot of time in England. And there was something about the colors, the deep greens, the saturation of the colors, the roses, the scent, and all of that. If we consider that we are nature, and this is our nature, what is your nature? Then Canada was not aligning with my nature. And you can see it in nature, that there was something about it that I could see it as epic and beautiful and appreciate it. And I was not. It was not my nature. And so how that rolled out is part of the thing about daring is starting to deeply saturate yourself into what are the alignments for you in your life? What is an aligned experience and what is not? So for me, it was like this continual message over all of my teens. And then I did university in Toronto. And there was always this feeling that I was not in my place. It was just not quite aligned. And so when I was 22, I went on a holiday. And it was for something like 2 months. I went all throughout Europe. I started with one connection that somebody had. Somebody's sister lived in London. And so I went to visit that person. And that person said to me, if there is a place in this house, when you come back after 2 months traveling, you can have it. You can have a room in this house. And so I never made the decision technically to leave Canada. I just made the decision to never go back. And I had the daringness to not return, right, to what essentially at that time was my home. I made the decision not going back. And it was a very daring decision at the time. I was 22 years old. I didn't know anyone in London. All my family are from the north of England. So when I actually came to London, I was absolutely on my own as a 22-year-old. I knew this sister of a friend. Not really knew her, but I just had a connection with her briefly. And I dared to honor this feeling that had gone on forever, which was it's just not an alignment in Canada. And so the decision was, like I say, it was not to leave Canada, it was to not go back and to be in a place where I felt more attuned. That's one of the ingredients of daring. It's starting to get to know yourself so well that you're in this aligned space all the time. So decisions are very easy, even if they're, monumental decisions like that. And I wonder if you've had any of those experiences where you feel slightly out of alignment. This is one of the first stages of it. So conversations on daring, I'm going to be having them all the way up until we do the challenge. I will be putting a landing page so that you can go to my bio and you can sign up for the Daring Challenge. And it will be a 5-day experience where we get to talk about this level of attunement and alignment in life, and then we set you up to make some daring decisions. So really excited, can't wait, and watch this space.